The following summary shows the TFP's main actions from 2017 onward to pay tribute to Plinio Corrêa de Oliveira 26 years after his death. We have invited young members of our family of souls from different countries to tell us about the main events of the counter-revolution in recent years. My name is Alisson Vasconcelos, a member of the Plinio Corrêa de Oliveira Institute based in Brazil.
I'm Kobe Suttorp, Dutch, and member of Civitas Christiana, an entity based in the Netherlands and belongs to the TFP around the other world.
I am Emmanuel Restrepo, a volunteer at Centro Cultural Cruzada, one of the associations inspired by the work of the great Catholic leader Plinio Corrêa de Oliveira.
My name is Jonathan Marine, a full-time volunteer of the American TFP in the United States of America.
Let us begin our story in Brazil, the country from which the work of Plinio Corrêa de Oliveira spread around the world. In recent years, Brazilian public opinion has proclaimed its rejection of leftism and communism in their veiled and explicit aspects. Brazilians are increasingly manifesting a yearning for a true Catholic and conservative Brazil, as can be seen in slogans shouted throughout the country: "I want my Brazil back," and "Our flag will never be red." The numerous initiatives and campaigns promoted by the Plinio Corrêa de Oliveira Institute have played a crucial role in bringing about the so-called conservative wave, and our campaigns have only intensified since 2017. We at the Institute always try to support and participate in all demonstrations, protests, and marches against abortion and leftism, always in defense of Christian civilization in Brazil. The Institute's participation in demonstrations against abortion in Brasilia and São Paulo. Prince Bertrand of Orleans-Bragança addressed the crowd, recalling fundamental principles to achieve victory against abortion.
Ora, o principal argumento, a principal causa que nos reúne aqui é que o aborto ofende a Deus. E a glória de Deus está sendo atingida com o aborto.
From 2019 to the recent independence celebrations on September 7, 2021, demonstrations by conservative Brazilians have multiplied. Brazil is fed up with the left. As a result, there have been lots of protests and demonstrations everywhere. We normally participate in them to distribute the Institute's communications, show support for the conservative movement, and make contacts with friends and acquaintances. In recent years, we promoted several petitions and protests on the Institute's website and collected signatures directly from the public. In 2017, we held a petition campaign collecting signatures against the expansion of abortion in Brazil. It was done both online and on the streets directly with the public. After months of campaigning, a delegation of volunteers from the Institute, led by Don Bertrand, delivered 41,663 signatures to the nation's Congress against loosening abortion laws. We have seen growing in Brazil in recent times a cursed wave of blasphemies against our Lord and the Catholic faith on TV programs, exhibits, carnival parades. The Institute has launched online protest campaigns and also carried out public acts of reparation. March 2019. Online protest against blasphemy at the São Paulo Carnival. The Gaviões da Fiel Samba School depicted our Lord beaten by a devil. December 2019. Petition against Netflix's blasphemous program, Porta dos Fundos, obtains nearly 50,000 signatures. Such initiatives have been promoted by the Institute's YouTube channel, which has reached 170,000 subscribers, becoming a pole of conservative thinking in Brazil. February 2020. Great repercussion of our online protest against a blasphemous presentation of Rio de Janeiro's Mangueira Samba School. More than 115,000 signatures were collected. In January of that year, before the carnival, caravanners passing through Curitiba at that time prayed a public rosary of reparation in front of the cathedral against that blasphemous Samba School presentation. In 2020, 25 years after Dr. Plinio's death, the caravans completed half a century of operations going from north to south and east to west. Since 2017, the Institute's caravanners have traveled the highways of 21 of the 27 states of the Federation, from Belém do Pará in the north to Chuí, state of Rio Grande do Sul in the south, from Recife, Pernambuco in the east to Rio Branco, state of Acre in the west. It is difficult to remember so many campaigns the caravans carried out, spreading books, manifestos, and petition collections. January 2018. The caravan goes to Paraná and denounces gender ideology by spreading Father David Franciscini's book. In July 2018, the Institute launched a petition campaign against the so-called Diversity Statute. Among other absurdities, the bill sought to imprison anyone who opposed the homosexual agenda, even if peacefully, on the grounds of religious objection. Of course, there were clashes with anarchists, communists, rioters of all kinds. During a campaign in São José do Rio Preto, we had an argument with a communist. She was a radical affiliated with a leftist party. At one point, she went as far as to say, "If everything works out, Brazil will become Cuba." In Sertãozinho, a group of pro-LGBT protesters tried to disrupt the campaign. One of them said the Institute's action blocked their agenda. "You are deconstructing everything we've already built." July 2019. The caravan goes to the state of Mato Grosso, then to the states of Rondônia, Amazonas, and Acre. Going even farther, it crosses the Andes mountain range all the way to Peru. It was part of the great campaign promoted by TFPs and sister organizations around the world to alert them about the progressive threat posed by the Amazon Synod. They collected more than 20,000 signatures from the inhabitants of the Amazon region. We promote camps and regional meetings, usually in June, for young people who frequent our various seats in Brazil. Our national meeting is held in January and includes lectures, theater skits, games, intellectual and moral education. As usual, the Institute had been promoting periodic conferences for its friends and supporters. On 3 commemorative dates, Institute representatives were called to speak to the National Congress invited by Representative Chris Tonieto, a practicing Catholic from Rio de Janeiro.
Concedo a palavra agora ao senhor Nelson Ramos Barreto, que é jornalista e representante do Instituto Plinio Corrêa de Oliveira.
Bom dia a todos. O Instituto Plinio Corrêa de Oliveira parabeniza a Câmara dos Deputados.
January 2020. The caravan goes to Rio Grande do Sul and to Chuí in the extreme south of Brazil to distribute the issue of Catolicismo magazine on the Amazon Synod and the books Environmental Madness and Indigenous Tribalism. Dissemination of Dom Bertrand's book Environmental Madness goes beyond Brazil's borders. It has had 8 printings in Brazil with a total circulation of 37,000 copies. An English edition of 20,000 copies recently came out, and a 1,000-copy Spanish edition was printed in Argentina. The book became so well known that President Bolsonaro mentioned it at the G20 meeting in Osaka, Japan in 2019.
Mas, de maneira bastante cordial, mostramos que o Brasil mudou o governo, e falei para ela também, na questão da psicose ambientalista que existe para conosco. Cadê o livro? Está aí? Tem livro aqui do príncipe, eu lembro, é aquele cara que acha que o meio ambiente está acima de tudo. Tem um livro aqui. Tá? Pessoal, tudo bem? Dá licença aí.
In July 2020, everything indicated that the restrictions imposed by the pandemic would prevent the caravan from going out. Unable to directly approach the public on the streets, the Institute's young people decided to organize a different caravan, to recite the rosary in public squares, asking Our Lady to help us during that difficult phase we were going through. In 20 days, caravanners prayed 72 rosaries in 67 cities in the states of São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, Minas Gerais, Espírito Santo, Mato Grosso do Sul, and the Federal District. Many people spontaneously joined the young people to pray, and they warmly thanked us for the initiative. To answer the question of whether the Institute's actions have any repercussions or resonance in public opinion, let us look at examples of people who watch us from the outside. An article published by Veja magazine in September 2020 reads, "In São Paulo, the Plinio Corrêa de Oliveira Institute, the former TFP, one of the lighthouses of Catholic conservatism, trains people and launches books to spread its thoughts across the country. It remains to be said that the Institute does a whole lot more than just launch books."